Hello and welcome. Before we begin, we'd like to take a brief moment to share an important disclaimer. The views, opinions, and statements expressed on the Rascals Lounge podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not reflect the views of any organization, employer, or sponsor. This podcast is provided as is and is intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. Discussions on this podcast may include topics such as politics, vaccines, the pharmaceutical industry, professional sports, esports professionals and organizations, content creators, music, medicine, law, science, psychology, herbal medicine, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, religious leaders, faith-based beliefs, and other related subjects. All commentary is based on publicly available information, personal experience, or personal opinion. Any references to public figures, political parties, politicians, athletes, organizations, religious groups, or individuals, living or deceased, are opinion-based and are not intended as factual claims or statements that could harm reputations. No content on this podcast is meant to defame, discredit, or negatively impact the reputation of any person, group, political party, religious faith, or entity. The host and guests expressly disclaim all liability for defamation, libel, slander, or any misinterpretation of the views expressed. This podcast does not provide professional advice of any kind. Comments or discussions involving doctors, scientists, psychologists, attorneys, athletes, religious leaders, politicians, or other professionals, including those related to health, training, injuries, performance, the pharmaceutical industry, herbal remedies, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, vaccines, or alternative treatments, are intended for general informational purposes only. Listeners should never start, stop, or alter any medication, treatment plan, religious practice, legal action, financial decision, or substance use based solely on content heard on this podcast. Always consult with a licensed professional or qualified advisor in the relevant field before making any decisions related to health, law, religion, finance, or lifestyle. The host and guests make no representations or warranties regarding the accuracy, completeness, or suitability of the information presented, and disclaim all responsibility for errors, omissions, or outcomes resulting from the use of this content. The podcast and its content are provided as is, without any express or implied warranties of any kind. By listening to, reading, or otherwise accessing this podcast, you acknowledge and agree that the Rascals Lounge podcast, including its host and guests, shall not be held liable for any interpretations, actions, or consequences resulting from the content of this program. We strongly encourage all listeners to think critically, do their own research, and form independent judgments before acting on any topic discussed. Listener discretion is advised. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining, man. It's kind of wow. How do you pronounce your last name? 'Cause I'm like, is it Mike or Mick? Seth?
It's Mick.
Mick. Okay,
Yep.
Seth Mick. Okay, awesome, man. Where's that originate from? What's Mick from?
It is so I actually did an ancestry DNA kind of thing, and then I went back and looked because I talked to my granny and my grandpa, like my dad and my mom and stuff, and they told me like where they thought we were from. It's not really where we're actually from. So it actually is a lot of Eastern European influence. So like around like Poland, Ukraine, kind of around like Slovenia, like all around like that area basically is where that name originates from. I don't know exactly which region it is, but I know it's Eastern European off what I read when I got the report back on it. So
Wow.
somewhere
That's
around
kind
that
of
area. Yep.
first time me hearing hearing the last name like that. I read it. I was like, am I reading this correctly? M-I-K. That's it.
Yeah, I used to love it when I was in school. Writing my name on the paper, I'd write down 3 letters and it'd be so easy. Seth Mick, it's like 7 letters total. It's the easiest thing in the world to write.
Very easy, very easy. You know, in my line of work, I work in in the medical field. I do EKGs for patients, and I even watch and monitor them when they're plugged in. I got to have a patient that was went by the last name Bond.
Bond. Oh man,
B-O-N-D. Yeah, that was wild. It's like
that is,
Bond.
that's cool. Especially if you're like, I feel like you live in the United States, like everyone knows who James Bond is. Like it's
Yeah. No, the crazy thing, I mean, I can't remember. Like, I just can't remember. I'm kind of hazy. I can't remember if the first name was James. And I don't know if the parents did it on purpose. Hey, our son has our last name Bond. Let's just name him James.
You're just like setting that kid up for some like you talk about like the aura farming that people always talk about nowadays, like just James Bond. That is so
And
cool.
in school, he must have been, pretty popular.
hmm
Everybody want to know that. So, man, first of all, I want to congratulate you winning this major that you just recently one not too long ago. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Good job, man.
No, I appreciate it. It was definitely a long journey to get to that point. It's been a
Bro.
very long time. Been in this game since I was 15, so we've
Oh, really?
yeah, for 11 years. I've literally since it came out, I've been playing it.
So when it came out in 2015, you were 15?
I'm 26 now.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, I would have just, my bad. I actually would have just turned 16. I just thought back now on the calendar. So I would have just turned 16 because it came out in December of 2015. And I turned 16 in November of 2015. So,
wow.
Yeah, still a long time though.
You've been
Over a
playing
decade.
this since it was in beta. Then I played it when it was in beta. I just didn't like it because obviously I was a Call of Duty Battlefield type of guy.
Mhm.
And then for me, it was just like freaking like I can't get used to this. You can't jump.
Yeah.
So
The
used to
jumping
like,
thing really threw me off too, to be honest. I was like, what the heck's going on here? Because I used to play
Yeah.
Call of Duty and Halo a lot, and I played Battlefield too, but it was mainly like Call of Duty and Halo were always my two biggest
Halo,
ones.
yeah. I got a
when I was
lot of
younger.
buddies in Halo. That's where I kind of like really grew my roots.
Yeah. What's your favorite one? Like whenever you're
I think Halo 2 was my favorite.
Mhm.
Halo.
I actually
yeah.
agree. Halo 2 is my favorite as well. It's the first game I ever played.
Oh, really?
First game I ever played. I was like
Yeah.
7 years old, went to our brother's house, and he used to game a lot and stuff, so he had we were like looking at games to play together. And I just pulled this on, like, let's try playing this. He's like, sure. And so we just played through the campaign together. And I was absolutely awful because it's the first time I ever touched a video game controller, but it was so fun. And I remember I just wanted to keep playing Halo. And then I went back home and I begged my dad. I was like, when I turn 8, I want an Xbox. Please give me an Xbox. Like, I want to play Halo. And then I got Halo 2 and Halo Combat Evolved. And then Halo 3 eventually came out. And then I played through all those. And, like, it was just obsessed with it at that point. Just grinded it so much.
So you were playing till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was bad. And then it would be, I remember my mom would wake up in the morning because I'd have to go to school, obviously. And then I would say, I'm just going to go take a shower real quick. And then I would go and lay down in the shower and sleep because I stayed up so late the night before playing video games. And then they would wonder why I was taking a 40-minute shower every morning. But it was, yeah, definitely was into it. Like, midnight release used to happen back then too. I remember we went and did the Halo Reach midnight release. Me and my dad did. That was like one of the coolest things. I actually still have the statue in my closet of like the Noble team, like where they have like them on like that little rock thing that you get with like the pre-order.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Oh man, the Halo days. I remember going to GameStop, waiting in line at 11 o'clock at night, just waiting for them to open up the doors.
Yeah.
The line was freaking insane, man.
Oh yeah.
Insane. It's like, I mean, those are the good days. Now
Yeah.
everything people just download it. But the experience to wait in line, it just grew the anticipation. And then you notice that you're not the only fan. There's thousands
There's
of them.
tons.
There's
Tons.
tons.
Yeah. Even me being in like a really small town in Kentucky, like going to the midnight release, I remember because Halo Reach is one of the, I think that was the biggest one where I saw the most people because I went to a couple. My dad would take me to those sometimes. Not everyone. He wouldn't. He would some say like, no, we're not going to this one. But if it was one that I really liked, I really liked Halo, he's like, okay, we can go to the Halo one. And it was Radcliffe, Kentucky, is where we went to, where the GameStop was. And there was probably, I would say, 100 people in line for it, which it doesn't sound like a ton, but like when you think about how small like that area of Kentucky is, and you see the line, you're like, wow, like this is a lot. And that's like such a cool part of like gaming culture that I feel like, we kind of lost, I guess, with like the digitalization of everything. Because that was actually really fun. You get to talk to all these people about the game. You get hyped up, like waiting for it to open up. Then you go and get the game. Then you come back home and just start playing it, like at like 12:45 in the morning or whatever it was, and just not even sleep that night.
Oh,
like,
you can't sleep.
Yeah, you got to play till you finish the campaign at least. So like that's how it was.
I know. I remember just waiting in line and people were just talking. Oh, we're gonna play this. Oh, what's your favorite? And it's just like it would just go crazy. I mean, the conversations was just wild, and people just talking about tricks and tips, and it was just like. And then when the doors open, they'll allow like 5 people at a time. We're gonna bring in 5 by 5, 5 people at a time, and it's just like you just gotta wait and wait.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. It was fun. You know any pro players in Halo?
A little bit actually, because I did not back then, but because I was on Space Station for so long, they had a really good Halo team. I think they actually had the best Halo team in Halo. They
Yeah.
won like, if I don't like mistake this, I think they won like 3 out of their 4 majors or something one year that I was on SSG. So like they were just a dominant force, and occasionally we would like see those guys when we go to Utah or like talk to them and stuff, and it was pretty cool to like. I never really built a relationship with any of them, but like we were adjacent to them because we were also a pro team and like they were, so it was cool to watch them and kind of see how they actually played at that level, like watch them play Halo Infinite and stuff. It was kind of wild. Like they were crazy good, man. Like I played Halo Infinite like a bit, like
Hmm.
ranked and stuff, and watching these guys play, then comparing myself to playing, like there's some serious levels to it, and it is like it's so many talented players in Halo. I wish the esport, I guess, did a little bit better because obviously it fell off and like they're in that kind of break period now with like the pro play. It's such a fun
Yeah.
game to watch though. If you actually kind of understand what's going on. I even prefer it to Call of Duty if I'm being honest when it comes to the pro play. It's
Yeah.
really, really cool.
My buddy, I've got a buddy, he's a pro and he's won multiple majors. He is a Renegade.
Okay.
And
Yeah, no, I know
he,
Renegade.
Renegade, he was with
Yeah.
Team Cloud, and then with
Mm.
Cloud, he went to Phase, and from Phase, oh, he's all over the place. But he has won. He's considered like one of the top 3 best all around. Upgrade your screen time, whether you're gaming, working, or just browsing, with Gamer Advantage blue light blocking eyewear. They are expertly crafted for gamers or for anyone that's in front of a screen for long hours. Featuring Resme lens technology, these glasses are engineered to minimize digital eye strain and shield your eyes from the detrimental effects of blue light. Doctor recommended, potentially boost focus, and significantly enhance sleep quality, ensuring you stay at the top of your game. Visit gameradvantage.com for more information and use promo code RASCALS at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. I do earn a commission when you use the promo code, which helps sustain and grow the podcast. Once again, visit gameradvantage.com for more information and use promo code RASCALS at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. Friggin' humble, really nice guy. I mean, just cool. I did a 1v1 against him, and it was kind of fun. I killed him one time, and he
You
was
did?
like, damn, good kill. I was like, oh, gosh, you don't know what this means to me. I got to kill you, even though I feel you allowed it to happen, but still,
Yeah.
I got to kill you. I mean, but really, really nice guy. I am very, very humble. I know he went now to become Call of Duty Pro
Hmm.
because the game just like collapsed.
Yeah.
I feel bad because that game was actually like the foundation of a lot of what's going on.
It was. Yeah. Like MLG and such, like Halo was, kind of like one of the founding fathers, almost you could say, of like what esports is today. I feel like Call of Duty
Yeah.
was there too, but Halo was also definitely there. With that, like they were two of the top dogs, like all like game battles, tournaments, and things of that sort.
Yeah, man. I mean, if we go way back, you ever heard of Fatality?
Fatality.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Well, him. Fatality. He's the GOAT. He's
Yeah.
like saying like the Bill Russell of NBA. This guy, he was top champion on 3 major games. He's
Wow.
also inducted in the Esports Hall of Fame.
Really.
Yeah,
So this guy's like, yeah, he's a beast.
oh yeah, he's a buddy. He's a good friend. He came on the pod already, I think 2 times already. Really cool guy. I was like, now this was the guy I grew up watching it because
Mhm.
I'm in my 40s. So I grew up watching this guy. I mean, it was like, dude, you were on MTV. You were on, I got to see your
Mhm.
show, and they did a documentary special on him. I mean, he was like big, and you just see him holding up these paychecks, 100,000, 50,000. I mean,
Mhm.
he'll compete around the world. Yeah, he played on Real Tournament. He was number 1 in that. He played another game. He was number 1. He was just like number 1 in multiple games.
Mhm.
Crazy good.
When
Crazy
did you
good.
get into esports? I guess like that's a question for you. Like when did you
Yeah,
start
sure.
like
I got into esports. Actually, what got me into it, I just started going more towards the Halo side of things.
Mhm.
And then I started modding for a lot of the pro players. Because
Okay.
I modded for Renegade, and then for me, people was like, well, if you mod for him, then you can mod for me. And one said, hey, can you mod for me? I know you're modding for Renegade. And it just like
Mhm.
spread out like wildfire. And then I was like, okay, I love Halo, but man, my heart is on Rainbow Six Siege.
Mhm.
And then I went over to Rainbow Six Siege and started modding for pros there. And that's how I kind of grew in the esports.
Gotcha.
And then after some times, I'm just helping out the players and making sure they do, everything correctly and they don't get in
Mhm.
trouble or whatever. Then Wildcard reached out to me. And then I think it was Ben or Griff, the owners,
Mhm.
So, and they, hey, how would you like to, help us out? And I'm like, sure. Okay. And they said, you want to become a Wildcard? I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. And then that's how it went. Then I
Gotcha.
started modding for the pro players, making sure while they're streaming, they do everything by the book,
Yeah,
according
nothing
to
crazy or anything.
yeah. So they put me as a Twitch specialist and also worked in communication. So I would just work with the pro players. The thing is, doing that is very very tough. It's not easy
Mhm.
because you got to make sure that these players do everything right and they
Yeah.
don't say anything that will jeopardize them or the organization. Because if they say something wrong,
Yeah.
the org is going to feel obligated. They got to kick them out.
Yeah.
And
No,
you don't want
definitely.
to lose a good player
Yeah.
because they said something dumb or stupid on stream. And now the organization feels like, hey, listen, if we don't kick them or fire them, then everybody's going to see the org like, you're
They're enabling
horrible.
it in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. That
So I did
is,
that.
yeah, that would definitely be a more stressful endeavor,
Ooh.
I would say. Like 100%. You're probably just sitting there kind of like just biting your tongue a little bit, just waiting,
Yeah.
hoping, I
Well,
can definitely see the stress.
no, my thing was I let every player has their own mods and I let
Yeah.
them do their thing. Obviously, if I see some type of person being racist or saying things that are way out of line, I'll go ahead and just delete it and ban the person. But
Yeah.
I let them do what they got to do. I was more worried
Kind of like,
about what the streamer
yeah.
is doing,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
he's saying, what he's doing. So making sure he's not caught out of line. If he is, I was like, look at your phone ASAP, and they'll look. I said, you know, reboot
Mhm.
your stream right now, immediately before somebody records that,
Yeah.
because it could jeopardize, and it's happened. It has happened.
Oh,
Somebody,
definitely. I
I'm
see
not
it
going
all
to
the
mention
time.
any names, but I know somebody lost their charm because of a dumb
Yeah.
joke, and then they shouldn't have said.
A good rule of thumb with a lot of that the way I look at it at least is, I guess it's not directly correlatable, but like, what I'll always say is like, if I won't say something to somebody if they're right in front of me, like whoever I might be talking about or whatever I might be talking about or scenario, person, etc., like then I wouldn't say it in public, basically. Like, 'cause then it's like, that's when it's kind of out of line. Like that just goes good, I think, as well when it comes to like gossip. But you're obviously not going to say anything crazy like that either, because like if you're talking, if we're talking about a player that I coached, 5 years ago or whatever, 4 years ago, and I'm sitting here telling you about how awful this person was. I wouldn't say that when they're in the room with me, right? It's like that might get me in a little bit
Correct.
of trouble if I go exaggerate it. Like I'm gonna only say what I would say if they're right in front of me, type of deal. And I think that it's always worked for me at least. I've never got caught out saying anything terrible. I mean, I just don't talk. I'm not racist or I'm not weird in any way like that either. But
Mm-hmm.
I've never caused any controversy just because you know, I don't gossip and I don't fall into
Yeah.
like that weird kind of stuff in a way. I'll just say it how it is. If you're in the room with me, I'll tell you the same way that I would say it to somebody else.
Exactly. I have disagreements with a lot of people, or some people I just don't. I kind of just don't like too much.
Hmm.
Um, but I just try to be very peaceful about it. I'll keep my
Hmm.
comments to myself. There's certain people I will just talk to that I could just say I feel kind of weird about this person.
Hmm.
I don't know, something's not clicking. But it's like my closest friends,
Hmm.
and that is it. And I just won't. I'll just keep it like that. because you never know. You never know. Might need this person's help in the future. You just
Exactly.
never know. So just better off if you just don't like them. Just stay clear.
Yeah, just
Be respectful. And just not too long ago, a disagreement with somebody, and then fine. We just kept it like that. We're both adults. We don't need to be spreading rumors and
yeah,
talking bad. Excuse me, talking bad about each other or whatever. And that is it. Just keep it mutual and respectful, and that's it.
Yeah.
It happens,
definitely.
man. Have you ever had players that within the same in the group in the team that just one of them just didn't click with the other?
Yeah. I mean, it's what I think my philosophy on coaching and I guess like the way our teams have always been ran have been different than almost every other team in Siege, and I would say almost every other team in esports, where it's like we're very culture focused in the way that we do things. So it's culture comes first in everything. So like when we first create a team, and this is to kind of give context to answer your question, but I want to make sure that I'm not just directing straight at it before you have it. So when we first create a team, we'll always come through together and we'll establish kind of like our guidelines and our standards in terms of how we want to operate and such. So like very first thing we'll do is we'll have a conversation. It'll probably take a few hours to be honest. Every time there's a new player that gets changed, every time we're building a team, whatever it might be. It just happened with DZ, it happened with SSG, it happened on Astralis. The three questions are like, what promises we're going to keep to each other? What do we want to be known for? And then how do we want to like operate on a day-to-day basis essentially? Like how are we going to, go about practice, games, whatever it might be. And then we'll just have like a conversation around that and everyone will have their ideas. We'll have like a rule where it's like everything that we agree on, everybody needs to agree with. It's one of the few times within the team that it is purely democratic in every aspect where everybody has got to agree with it because if it's a standard that, we expect the guys to live by completely and hold them to that standard, they have to fully be on board with it. It can't be something that we're forcing on them, and so we'll have that conversation. We'll list it out. We'll write out like a list of tenant standards. And to give an example, like what these standards would look like there's one that we have, which is like coachable. That's a standard, which, we kind of explain that in the way that none of us on the team can really see past our own ego and that ego will create blind spots for us that we won't be able to see where we need to improve at because it'll try to protect ourselves. So your teammates and your coach can see that, whereas you will try to hide it from yourself basically. So we need to make sure we're staying open to being coachable. And then we have like 5 others. And then another example, like the tenants would be one that we have, which is it's good, is what we say. It's like hashtag good, which is like whenever things are out of your control that you have no influence over, don't complain about it. Just say good and go on to the next. And it's like little things like that. And that just 2 examples. There's a total of, I think, 25 things on that, somewhere around there that we have. And we, originally created SSG after Astralis collapse. This was years ago at this point. We had that same conversation, came through, we talked about it. And, at the time, there was a bit of pushback from one of the players. He said he agreed with all this, said he wanted to do it, and then we were constantly adjusting it, trying to cater it to him, and he would just not really respect too much of it very much. Thought it was kind of stupid, didn't really like the way it was going, and it did cause a pretty big disagreement within the team, just because it became very disrespectful to the other players on the team and to myself at a certain point, and that disagreement, like it would lead into some pretty non-productive debriefs, reviews and stuff where like this guy would just say like, you guys are dumbasses, whatever it is, things of that sort. So we ended up having to make a change there off of that. Just again, because it wasn't something where he was willing to really make any amends to kind of buy into the culture that we had on the team. That doesn't happen a lot though. Since that time, there hasn't really been a guy who has, not bought in, or at least took some time to work up to it. Most recently, Newers, when I got him, he was one of the guys who everybody was telling me, they were DMing me, they're like, there's no way Newers is going to fit in your system. There's no way he can do this. No way, that he's ever going to change, whatever it was. And like, I pretty much ignored that. And he did have a longer time to kind of integrate than other players did, but now he's like fully on board with it. He loves it. Like he's fully integrated in it. He's fully, you could go and talk to him without anybody else being around. He could very, very clearly be an example of like what our team stands for. I can say that with full confidence. And like it goes to show that I think anybody can do it if they want to. Anybody can be a part of the system if they want to be a part of it. They just have to put effort towards it, and they got to be willing to, make a couple changes here and there, and they can 100% fit into it.
I totally agree with you. I didn't know you were part of Australis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of wild. I'm really good friends with Iconic.
Yeah. I was his coach for that time on Charles.
Wow.
When we went to
I hope you were talking about him.
No, I
like,
wasn't
oh,
talking about him. No,
okay.
he was great. Dave
Okay,
is
good.
like
I'm like,
he's
David
one of the
Cruz.
guys who like he helped build that culture. Like he is
Oh,
very
okay.
good when it comes to that. He's
He
actually on
is-
the DZ Academy team right now. He's we're still working together.
He's a good friend,
Oh yeah, he's a good dude.
and and I'm gonna tell you how loyal he is. He never told me he's on a DC Academy.
Yeah.
he keeps it. I mean, we have our cell phone numbers. We talk to each other once in a while, and I keep in contact. I'm like, this young guy is such a phenomenal young man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, don't worry. You're gonna be on a team sooner or later. It's
100%.
gonna happen.
He no, Dave is, like I told you, he helped build a lot of that. He is a very he has a lot of traits of a good natural leader.
Oh yeah.
He definitely does. Like he's one of the few guys that I've coached. And it doesn't sound like a huge deal whenever you think about it, but it actually is a really big deal. You talk about like rallying the troops. Like everyone always says that in like competition and stuff like that. He can really actually do it. Like I remember like we would do huddles and stuff before the game on a Charles, and like he would just start like giving this like speech. He wouldn't write anything down. He wouldn't have a plan, and like it would be good. It would like get everybody like fired up, ready to go and like play together. Like every single time he'd be able to do stuff like that. He was very good in that aspect. And I mean, I'm good friends with him too. I'd say like out of all my former players, I'm probably closest with him. He's come to my house before, and we've stayed, and we went to a
cool.
Zen monastery before together, and like meditated for 3 days with nothing but staring at a floor. Like we've done all kinds of stuff together.
Oh, cool.
Traveled around and things of that sort. No, he's a great guy. When you talk about like this culture aspect, he is definitely one of the biggest net positives. He did not have a negative on that at all. He was one of the guys who helped actually establish it in the first place.
He is very positive. And I could tell by certain things that he would tell me, some things that he will recommend.
Mhm.
Not too long ago, I had an issue with someone, and he would say, "Take it as a positive."
Yeah.
I never discriminate anybody due to their age,
Yeah.
because probably a 10-year-old could give me lessons. Who knows?
Mhm.
They just because of their age, I never discriminate. And he's young and very bright, and I will ask him some questions, and he'll just respond like in a way that was like, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
His advice is very refreshing, and I can know how good-hearted person he is.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, and brought him on the podcast. He was phenomenal. And I was like, this kid has a bright future. I think he's gonna go a long ways in this. But yeah, he's really, really, really smart, really good.
I like how you
I
said that
always
too.
like to humble people, man. I
Yeah.
think if a lot of these players get rid of this ego,
I agree.
and I know you could have certain type of ego, you're good at a game, you're nice, but if you let that ego get to the point that it affects you and affects people around you, even affects fans, it's not a good thing, because it's gonna spoil the
Yeah.
punch, and you don't want that. And I met people like that. Their egos got so high they didn't even want to greet or do anything for their fans.
Yeah.
For their
I've seen
fans.
the same thing at events sometimes where like, there'll be like signing sessions or things of that sort, and they'll just like, you know, act like you're above it. I think people have like a fucked up view about like inherent value. Like when I say like contribution towards something, like, obviously a pro player is going to be more valuable in an esports team than a fan would be because they're a pro player compared to the fan, right? But in terms of inherent value, those people are equal as human beings. Like they're both human beings. Like you've got to recognize that. And I think that you talk about that ego, the way I see it is that it creates a narrative inside of the head where you start to think that now not only that you're a better player, now you're also a better and a more valuable human, which is not the case at all. And that where it kind of creates a disconnect a little bit. And I think that, is the danger of the ego. It starts creating separation, honestly, and you start to forget that this is just another human being. You guys are both, you're the same. Like you're not any better than they are. You just are better at a video game than they are, or you're better at, like your EKG stuff. Like you are inherently more valuable at that than I am because I've never done that before. I would be a complete stupid person doing that. But, that doesn't mean that, you're more valuable than me as a human being. Just same way as like me being a coach. Like we're equal in that sense. Like we're just both people. I think that it's important to realize that and maintain that mindset, especially when you're in something where it is as ego driven as competition and at the level that we do it, where you're constantly in like a spotlight and people are, you know, talking to you about like, you have like some semblance of fame in a way, even if it's like a bit smaller than, somebody like Brad Pitt, for example, like within Rainbow Six, like, you know, pro players and et cetera are relatively famous. And that will get to your head if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, it sure would. If you're not careful, it will get to your head. Gotta be very careful. I mean, I have reached out to certain players, certain people. I don't mention any names, and it's because the fans will request, "Hey, bring this person on, bring them on,
Mhm.
bring them on." I already know before asking them what they're gonna respond, what they're gonna say, and I will just tell the fans, "Okay, fine, I'll reach out, but no guarantees."
Mhm.
And I'll reach out and they'll say, no. They
Yeah.
don't wanna I said, "It's not for me. Listen, I want you to know it's for your fans. Your fans are requesting this." Okay, no, no worries. No, just like they could respond in a way, we'll tell them that I apologize, but I
Mm.
can't this year or whatever. Be nice, but not so
Yeah.
rub it in so rude, and I'm like, "Okay, fine." But I just gotta say, "Hey, we can't. We can't at the moment," and well, hopefully, we'll wait in the near future or something. But, it's the ego, and I just hate that because
Mhm.
you don't have to be like that. And if you're the more humble you are, it goes a long ways, and people pick it up real quick. Like, I'm became really good friends with Summit. When I asked Summit if he wanted to come on the podcast, I'm like, "Dude, you don't have to, but it's if you want." And he's like, "Sure, man, no problem." I'm like, "Holy crap." I'm like, "Summit, I'm not really big. Not that well known." "Oh, that's not a problem. I don't care."
Mhm.
I said, "I don't have a big following on X." And he said, "Don't worry, I just followed you." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Crap, okay, cool." He came on the podcast, and from there, he says, "You're gonna see what's gonna happen." And I'm like, "Okay." Him coming on boosted my audience, went from 30 listeners in 30 countries, now from over 75 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've always had a good feeling about that guy. I really don't watch Twitch streamers or anything very much, but like I've seen some of his clips and stuff, and like you can kind of tell, like you can almost feel it in people, I guess, if that makes sense. You
Yeah.
can kind of like tell, like by the way they talk, the way they kind of carry themselves, like he's kind of a chill dude. He's kind of just,
Very, very chill. The way you see him, that's the way he is in
yeah,
person. I mean, it's everybody just told me, and I have private conversations with him. We DM each other back and forth, and super, super humble. I
yeah,
mean, like, I'm like, dude, I would expect differently because usually people in that type of tier, that category of
yeah.
fame,
It's almost kind of untouchable in a way.
untouchable. They're
Yeah,
very arrogant. They won't even respond to you or whatever. And he's just like totally the opposite. Totally the opposite. So I was like, man. But if a lot of these players get to have that humbleness in them and that quality of not having this type of ego and all this
yeah,
stuff, I think they'll go a long ways.
Oh,
And
I
it
agree.
opens the door for other teams because other teams will want them. Like, oh, that person's really cool, really humble. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's bring them on.
It's also, I think, another thought I have is it kind of is a detriment to their life after esports in a way too, just because, this is a very, very finite thing that we do. The turnover rate in esports is crazy. And even if you are one of the best and you're able to maintain a career for many, many years, it eventually does come to an end, one way or another. Like
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to be, coaching Dark Zero until 50 or 60 years old. It just the truth. I might still be in esports. I might be a manager, I might be helping run an organization or something at that point. But, or like Fultz. Fultz is not going to be a player for the next 25 years probably. It just realistically what it is. And if you become, this very egotistical, very, I'm better than you, holier than thou kind of mentality, that's going to hurt in anything you go into next in life as well. It's going to be hard to work with people. It's going to be hard to, people to work with you because you're going to have this mentality that you're better than them, and it's going to be hard to work with a team, whatever it might be. It's not really setting yourself up for the future anyway. And like you said too, even on other teams, maybe there's a player
Yeah.
who's a very excellent player right now, and he could be a very excellent coach. Maybe he gets to the point where he can't really play anymore, and then he wants to go coach, and the organization's like, I don't want this guy to come coach. Like he thinks that he's the next greatest thing to God. So, I don't want that person here with us right now. Kind of
Yeah.
closes a lot of doors for it.
Oh, it would.
We talk about it as well, about like we call like do the right thing a lot of times, and like through the lens of gratitude as well. And really those two things we always talk about. One of the main reasons is because, my philosophy as a coach at least is that my first job is to help everybody on my team become better people first, like better young men. Just because I do believe that a lot of people who come into esports lack a lot of life experience, especially at a very young age, coming at 18 years old, fresh out of high school. And a lot of times too, these guys, they come from, I'm not going to say they have not experienced hardship because some of them definitely have, and everybody has their own story. So I'm not going to discredit any of that, but a lot of them do come from a relative place of privilege. If you're able to have like a nice computer in high school, the ability to play the game this much, you're probably in a pretty okay situation a lot of the times compared to what some people are going on in the world. If like you look at some of the third world countries, look at what's happened to some kids in Africa, et cetera, like you're in a better spot than that a lot of times. And they come in and it's kind of this like very comfortable environment they were raised in a lot of times, and they don't have the experience really how to navigate hardship and then how to work with other people and how to help other people as well because they've been the ones getting help most of their life. And I think teaching younger men how to help other people and then how to maintain a lens of gratitude and to realize the situation that you're in, not take it for granted, is one of the best ways to kind of cultivate a very true humility, not like one that's like faked to get further, because you can also do that. You can act like you're humble, even if you don't think that, just to, appear good to other people or to kind of virtue signal it. But to create a true humility, I think that it has to come from gratitude and has to come from perspective a lot of times. And it's two things that, I try to offer a lot for my guys. And it has, helped a lot. Like I think everyone on my team right now, like I would say that they are quite proper young men. Like we can all get better. I'm a young man too. I'm not like some old guru at this point, but we can all definitely keep improving. But I would say they're quite good young men compared to a lot of people that I've seen in this space. And I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for that. That's like I'm more proud of that than I am of the major, if I'm being honest. The fact like how they conduct themselves and like how they treat other people and stuff like that brings me a lot more joy than even lifting a trophy did.
Yeah. I had Fultz on.
Yeah.
Phenomenal young guy.
He actually told us about
Phenomenal.
that. I remember that. He was telling us when he came on your podcast.
Oh,
And he actually
really?
told us, yeah, he even told us too. He was like, he even mentioned the summit thing because I guess he mentioned it to him maybe in
Oh,
that
yeah.
podcast. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, he told us about that. That was a while back though, wasn't it? It was a few months ago,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
It was a
Yeah,
while
yeah.
back. It was a
That's
while
proper.
back. Well, he told. Well, he didn't tell me because NDAs and stuff, and
Hmm.
you can't disclose anything. But he says you'll see where I want to go. You'll see
Yeah.
pretty soon. And I was like, okay, cool. Um, but yeah, very, very, very mature guy. Let me tell you right now, it's very mature. I was impressed how
Hmm.
mature he is, and he conducted like very professional, very humble. Like, I didn't know he was going to talk to you guys because I mentioned, I said, listen, we got anybody that you recommend, let me know. I tell that to everyone, that comes on. And he said, okay, yeah, for sure. So I feel good about that. I
Yeah.
feel good that he liked it.
No, we do a thing every day, the beginning of every practice. We call it like a sync, where we'll say, in our sync, like what we did all today, how we feel, what our one of the day was, like what we did the past few days, whatever it was, to kind of like catch up and stay current in each other's like personal lives a little bit. Like we obviously don't expect the guys to share like really, really personal shit if they don't want to. But it's just like, yeah, like I went and I did this, I mowed the lawn, I did this podcast, did these chores, went to this place with my brother, whatever, stuff like that. And that's when he mentioned it in one of the syncs that he did it with you. So
Oh,
that's where we got
cool.
wind of it.
Oh, cool. Well, just so you know, everybody in your team, in your organization is more than welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. They're more than welcome. I think I reached out to a couple other people and I'm, probably waiting for a response or something, but, probably when they hear from you, they're going to probably feel more comfortable.
Mhm.
And I could fully understand that sometimes they're like, I don't know. Let me ask my boss, ask the coach and
Yeah.
ask the managers if it's okay.
I would
And
say T-Chubbs, man. If you can get him, he is one of the most interesting stories in esports. Like
who?
he's my assistant coach, T-Chubbs. He
Mm,
So to give you a little context, I'm not going to give the whole Chubb story because if he does come on, I'd like to hear him tell it himself. But he used to be a pro League of Legends coach in Brazil. He's been in esports for 15 years, roughly, I think, at this point. So he used to be a League of Legends coach, came over to Rainbow Six. He won a major in Rainbow Six, coached in Brazil for a long time. He's been a Brazilian coach his entire career, like always coaching in Brazil. And then he was going to retire. I talked to him. I was like, Chubbs, if you want to come over to us, you got to spot with us. You don't have to retire. And he came over to us, made the switch over to NA. He's been with us since. But he's a very, very interesting fella. He has more life experience than a lot of people do because I think that he is about to turn 36 now here pretty soon.
mm.
So comparatively, he's a bit older and he's experienced a lot more. He runs like businesses outside of esports and stuff. Like he is quite an interesting fella, I will say. And a lot of people, because he's an assistant coach, I don't think a lot of people recognize like how cool this guy actually is and like how much stuff like his story actually has to it. Quite a fascinating dude. He's actually the one who's going to help me with this like fundraiser for like that evacuation team in Ukraine. Like he's helped me build the whole thing right now and stuff. So
Oh, really?
yeah, he's quite involved.
When?
We're gonna try to do it. Our original goal was gonna be, and I think we're still sticking to that timeline before the stage starts because we don't want to have to worry about logistics. We want to have it all up and running by then, so then just maintenance at that point. By the time the stage starts.
So it hasn't started yet, right? So
No, I have previously like I've done work on my own. Like I've went to Ukraine, I've done humanitarian work, I've sent money over there.
okay.
But I've never done this. Our kind of goal with this right now is, and we talked to all the players because they're all in agreement. Like they've all met my fiance as well, Lana. So like
Mm,
she's kind of explained to them what's going on there, things of that sort. And it's basically I have a really good friend there, in Ukraine right now. He's a French guy. He's a foreigner. His name is Samuel, and he does evacuation work for like civilians and like the like villages that are like getting hit with artillery or whatever it might be, and the ones who didn't really have an opportunity to evacuate out of there. And then
mm.
him and his team will go basically like drive a van and pick these people up who want to leave because they should leave, and they try to like they don't force anybody, but they're like, listen, like you guys need to go. Like this is about to get crazy here, and then they'll get him in the van, bring him back to a city, and get him to relative safety, and like help him get set up with like accommodation, whatever it might be. And on average, they've had a really good output. They've saved roughly 100 to 120 people a month since they started doing it. So it's
Wow.
quite a lot of people they're getting out of like war zones through doing this. And so his team is fully volunteer, so they don't get funded by the Ukrainian government. The UN doesn't fund them or anything, and they're always struggling to like buy stuff. Like they always need to buy new medical supplies. They always need to repair their van. Need to pay for like their warehouse, gas, things like that. And so what I want to do, since I know that, and I know there is no, you know, nobody's like taking a cut of any of that. Everything they get sent there, they're using 100% of the money for their job. It's not going to be anybody, pocketing any of that. And I trust them completely. So
Mhm.
what our goal was use our platform, that we basically have and the attention we have around like the major, and hopefully unify some people in this game, because I do believe that in esports a lot of people do value kindness, I think, in human life, and I don't think they really care if you're Ukrainian, if you're Russian, if you're American, if you're Iranian, whatever it is. Like, I think they can all
Yeah,
agree that, people dying and getting bombed, like especially like non-combatants, is a bad thing. And so
correct.
we're gonna want to try to get some funding up for them, get them set up where they can run for about at least a year, is our goal. And we're gonna create like a video around it, create like a fund for it, and then we're gonna like essentially go in and like every time we send them over money, we're gonna get like receipts, like, okay, your money did X, Y, Z. It allowed for
Hmm.
this many people to be saved. We bought this many med kits. We repaired this part of the van, whatever it was, and kind of keep it as an ongoing thing as we progress throughout the year.
That is wow, man. Let me know about them when I don't mind sponsoring and talking about that.
Yeah,
That'd be so freaking cool. That is a good thing that you're doing. Wow. That
yeah.
what
So
is it? You have family there? You say you got a good friend of yours, right?
yeah, it's kind of crazy how the whole thing started. I basically it was about 2 years ago. I was just on Reddit because I'm like a history kind of like enthusiast. Like I'm not like an historian. I'm like an armchair historian, I guess. So like I'll always like read about history. I like to keep up with world events for the most part, and I do realize there's a lot of propaganda around things. So like I like
Yeah.
to actually study stuff on my own. Like I like to go through and like try to figure out, make my own opinion on what the heck's actually going on here. And I was really like looking into what was going on in Ukraine for quite a long time actually before this. And I was like reading about the history of Ukraine, kind of how they've been historically oppressed, like their entire history, quite frankly. And then I was on Reddit one of the days on like this like page talking about it, and there was a video, and I don't go looking for this stuff because it's quite frankly sick, and I honestly wish I didn't see it, but I was on Reddit and like I opened up this video and I looked at it, and it was like this little girl riding her bicycle in one of the cities, and she just got blown up by a rocket, and it was like I was like, okay, this is enough. Like I'm going over there, and like literally a few weeks after that, I booked my ticket. Didn't know anybody in Ukraine. I'm like, I'm going to Ukraine. I'm gonna find NGO. I'm gonna start helping these people. And then so I got on the train, flew to Warsaw, got on the train. It was like a 26-hour train. It's the most ridiculous travel that I've ever done up to that point. And then arrived in Kharkiv, and I started working in a kitchen. Made some friends there. That's where I met Samuel at actually. Was at this kitchen. Then I moved around, did some other work there. Pretty much all humanitarian stuff, just help them with like either food or like medical supplies or whatever they need. Basically, they just need a body there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go there and help out. I was still coaching this whole time too. So like in the morning I was doing humanitarian work, and then at nighttime I was coaching from like 6 p.m. till like 3 a.m. every day. Then wake up again the next morning and do it. And throughout that time as well, I also met a girl there, which is name's Lena, and we started talking, and then we went on a few dates, etc. And then eventually up, last summer we ended up getting engaged, and so she's my fiance now, and
Oh,
she
congratulations,
lives
man.
there, so I know her whole family. I met them. They're in Dnipro right now, so like I've gotten pretty close. It's almost like a second home at this point. I would say Ukraine is, and I've been able to cut through a lot of the stories and the propaganda. I've heard all this crazy stuff about how all Ukrainian people are Nazis and stuff, and I've not seen any of that. I've met tons of soldiers there. I've met tons of people. I've only met kind of people. I've never met like I'm sure there are some really messed up ones there. I'm not saying that there are messed up people in every country, but
Yeah.
for the most part, they're they just want to live. They just want to live their life, and they can't really do that right now because of what's happening. So I want to do my part to help them be able to live a normal life again.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I never heard of a Ukrainian being, a Nazi or something like, or
That just
I
like the
know there was
propaganda
some
they put out
rumors.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
propaganda. Some people just want to make stories.
yeah.
They
They
just
want
put
to
out,
justify. They want to justify
yeah.
what's happening. I think that's why.
Well, they want to put out lies too, because they know that grabs attention, and they know drama creates
Yeah,
drama, and drama creates attention. It creates clicks, and
yeah,
it's a bunch of baloney. Because I know some Ukrainian doctors that are phenomenal, the
yeah.
ones that I would trust my son with.
There are some. They are probably the most resilient people that I've met. Like it was mind blowing to me. Like when I went there the first day. Like
Hmm.
I'll kind of give you the story after that. I went out to eat at this because I wanted a steak. I just came out. I just told you I had like a 40-hour trip. So I'm like, listen, I need to find a steak. Like I just wanted a steak. Like I don't know. So I found this restaurant. It was called Argentina, and it was like an Argentinian restaurant. Went there. literally probably 400 yards, like 4 football fields away, there was one of those fucking Sahi drones that blew up in the street. And I was like, holy shit, like this is crazy. And then I was just looking around and like there was like all these Ukrainian people, they were just like walking around selling their phone. They're like, this is just daily life. And I was like, it was really sad, but it was also like very impressive at the same time. Like these people are able to carry on with their life, like with all this happening. Like I gained a lot of respect for them at that point, and they are incredibly resilient. Like it is absolutely like amazing to see like how resilient these people actually are and how they can live, with this happening, and they're actually living too. Like they're not just, like hiding the whole time. Like these people are actually living a normal life, and it's wild to me. It is absolutely crazy to me, like how these people are able to carry on the way they are. And yeah, I mean, I just, you know, hopefully it ends soon, but until it does, I just
Yeah.
want to, like I said, I just want to help out as much as I can. Until then, I feel like it's kind of a almost like a calling at this point, with everything that I've kind of experienced and been there and seen. So it's probably the best way to put it.
Wow. Man, I feel for you, man, because do you speak it good?
Not good. I can speak it like a toddler, I think, like maybe like a 2-year-old who's
Okay.
just kind of learning the language. So like I can like greet people. I can carry a very, very, very basic conversation.
Okay.
I can say like, hey, you want to come go here with me? Yes or no, whatever it is. Like, hey, I
Where's
want to
the
eat this.
bathroom?
Yeah, yeah. Like
Where's
stuff
the
like that. And then like I can
Yeah.
count to 10, like basic stuff like that. I am trying to learn it more. Probably not putting as much effort as I should be towards learning the language. Because obviously my fiance is Ukrainian. She speaks Ukrainian fluently, and she would like to speak it with me. So she's
I was
teaching
gonna
me.
say, how you guys communicate? I mean, does
Well,
she speak any English?
yeah, she speaks English fluently as well. She speaks
Oh, really?
Ukrainian, English, and Russian. She speaks all
Oh,
three. Yeah,
thank God.
yeah.
Good.
So it
Good.
works out that way. It's not just, yeah, that'd be kind of crazy. We're just at the Google Translate all the time, just typing to each
Yeah.
other. Yeah. No, she speaks really good English. It's gotten a lot better too. When I first met her, she spoke English for her job because she worked with like some, people who'd speak English and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, like us talking every day and communicating, she's been able to become very good at it to the point where outside of the accent, there's really no difference in terms of like how I would speak to you.
Oh, I mean, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, now she's your fiance. I'm sure when you guys get married, things probably change. Probably bring her over.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sure she
that's the
wants to.
plan. We're,
Yeah.
we're going to this weekend. I'm actually going to Albania. And it sounds like a crazy place to go, but it's because Albania is one of two countries in the world right now where both Ukrainians and Americans can go for like up to a year, I believe it is, without any kind of extra visa or like resident permit or whatever it is. You can just stay there.
Mm.
So we've already been there once. We stayed for a few months. Then we went back to Ukraine together for a bit. And we're going to go back to Albania again while I'm getting my TRP figured out for Ukraine because I only have 40 days left of my current visa on it. So
Oh,
we're going to
man.
save that for me getting my resident permit. And then I'll have my 1 year. That'll be extended to a year after I get that. So I can go back to Ukraine. But we'll be in Albania this weekend. I'm heading over there Saturday.
Okay, good for you, man. Hope everything works out. I mean, I just pray and hope that she becomes U.S. citizen,
Yeah,
get citizenship.
that's our goal. That's what we're going to shoot for.
Is the process like really complicated or just
It has
more
gotten a
just
lot more
takes
complicated. Yeah, it has gotten more complicated since the new administration kind of took place. It's you have to do a lot of stuff. You have to jump through a lot of hoops, but you can do it. You can still do it. We just
you
have
could
to
do
put in some
it?
work for it. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good because I mean, if you have a clear, good background,
Mhm.
it should run kind of smooth in a way.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
hear that
she's
if you have clear, good backgrounds, they don't have to like verify if you had any legal issues or issues like
yeah.
that. It goes for any country that tries to get citizenship. But if a red flag pops up, this
Mhm.
person was in jail like multiple times, it's gonna be like I heard those are quadruple
Yeah. No,
strict.
I don't think she's ever even talked to a police officer her whole life, so there's no
Yeah,
issue
no,
there.
she be
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
should kind of like run smooth once they know that she
Mhm.
doesn't appear, pose a threat or something, and
Yeah.
it should go good. Yeah, I mean, has she ever came down to visit in the U.S.?
We tried. we tried to get her a visa, just a tourist visa to come and visit, and they denied it. So we're like, we're just gonna wait to do
Well,
any
it's
kind of
probably
other
because of
visa.
what's going on right now.
They thought that's exactly why. They thought that she was gonna come here and then just like never go back type of
And
deal.
never, yeah.
But it's like they don't even realize like she doesn't even want to leave Ukraine. Like she's like a very patriotic person to the country, and even with what's
Mm,
happening, like she loves being in Ukraine, quite frankly. She'd rather be with me, obviously, so she'll come to the U.S., but she does want to live in Ukraine. And like her whole family's there. You know, she has a whole life there, works there.
yeah, I was gonna
It's kind
say
of
it's
hard
gonna
just
be
to leave all
tough.
that, And she tried to explain that to them, but I can't really, I guess, fault the immigration officer because they're only she could lie about that, obviously, and they probably thinking about that, like that she was trying to basically tell them like, you know, I just want to go there for a few weeks and come back, and that was the plan. Like we literally even had her like flights and such that we were getting ready for it, but just didn't work out. So just a bump in the road. It is what it is.
Yeah. Dang it. Well, it will happen. It'll be bound to happen that she'll come over and visit, and I'm sure she'll have a blast. And
Yeah,
and she gets her citizenship as well. She get dual citizenship, right? It's what they
I
call it,
think
dual.
Ukraine just recently in 2025 made it where you are allowed to be a dual citizen with Ukraine, the United States, Germany, the UK. There's a few of them they
Yeah,
allow.
there was a few. That's what I read something like that
Mhm,
that you could. I think they just started that not too long ago.
mhm. Yeah, and then I might
Oh,
even get my dual citizenship for Ukraine, so we'd both be dual citizens if it gets to that point. So we'll see, or we could kind of go back and forth
now
because
question: if you do, are can they still draft you into that war?
they can. That's why I'm not doing it yet. That's why I'm not like going for. I would rather get a permanent resident permit for now until the war's over, then transition to citizenship after. I think that would make more sense because if you are a
Yeah,
citizen, they can't do that. Yeah, because I'd be of age. I'm 26 years old, obviously. So
yeah, you would get picked up immediately,
yeah,
man. Because it would kind
and
of
if
be,
you're
it would kind of suck because you want to be there with your fiance, and then it's like, okay, you got recruited, you gotta go.
yeah,
It's
I mean, I'm
like,
doing yeah. I think right now as well. Like if I can just get a permit to like go there whenever I want, that makes a lot more sense for what we're currently doing.
okay,
So go there, visit, see everybody, and then not have to worry about that. And that's kind of the thing with this too. Like I do believe that if we leverage this current idea the best, it's going to do more good than, even if I were to be there, like whatever it was, whatever modality, like this can objectively do more if we do it the right way. So I believe it's a good plan.
yeah, it is. It is a good. It sounds real good. Man, I'm excited. I hope this humanitarian thing that you're gonna put out. I hope it works out good.
Hmm.
Let me know about it. Geez, I'll post it, repost it all over the place.
No, I definitely will. We're gonna
Cause
work on it some more tonight, actually, after practice. So should be
good
should be
deal.
some news about it, I would say, in the next week.
Good man, good. Cause a lot of stuff that goes on in the world, people forget about what's happening in Ukraine. You don't hear it
Hmm.
too much anymore.
It's always what's happening most recently, and right now the thing is
Yeah,
Iran. So that's all anybody's
there,
ever talking about.
everything's Iran, and pretty soon it's gonna be Cuba. You got the
Really?
Cubans, yeah, Cubans over here. I'm in Florida, and they're just like going crazy. I can't wait to get free. I want my family, and I don't know. I want to visit my family. I want to visit. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
the heck is going on? So that's a topic that's coming through the media, and then I was like, okay.
Hmm.
But then you come to think, well, people just forget about what happened in Ukraine, and it's sad because do need attention. There's a lot of people that hurt and suffered
Hmm.
due to this war, and I'm really happy that you're doing something to help out, get these people out of there. They they deserve peace and freedom. They need
Hmm.
to get out of that mess.
No, definitely. They
Wow.
still happen every day. That's the thing. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just help out wherever we can. Like it's like a Buddhist principle that I learned. Like me and David actually went to the same place, but we did this. It was like a Zen teacher there. He was always talking about it's like you should try to reduce as much suffering as possible in your lifetime. So it's like that's a it's a way to do it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those people right there, if you can do it. Well, you're talking about the Cuba thing. It's actually interesting. My best friend I grew up with, he's Cuban. He's half Cuban. His dad is Cuban, and he has a lot of family from Cuba and such. He's always talking about it. I didn't
Yeah.
really hear anything about the whatever's going on right now with it though, but I do know that he has like family from there. I met a few of his like uncles and cousins that came over from Cuba. Pretty,
Wow.
yeah, they have a very interesting cuisine, like food they make. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
his dad cooked for us, and I was like, he would just like make these soups and like these like chicken like I forgot even what it was called. It was like in a corn, it's like in a corn cob thing. It
Yeah.
was really good actually. Never ate like
Yeah.
proper Cuban food before his dad made that. And it was like real Cuban food too. It wasn't like from a restaurant. It's like a Cuban dude's actually making this. It was really
It's
good.
the authentic stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Ropa vieja. Yeah, it's like the shredded meat.
Hmm.
It's really popular. Yeah. I'm Puerto Rican, but my grandfather from my dad's side was Cuban. So he
Gotcha.
escaped Cuba when he was young um, and landed in the island of Puerto Rico. And that's where
Gotcha.
he met my grandma. Yeah. Because once you land in the island, well, it's U.S. territory. So you're
Yeah.
in U.S. We're just not a
Gotcha.
state. That's it. You can
Yeah.
go to the island anytime you want. You just need your driver's license and U.S.
Interesting.
currency. Because if you don't have the American dollar, it's not going to go
Yeah, you're
far.
not getting too far.
Yeah. But
Have you always lived in Florida or did you used to live in Puerto Rico as well?
no, I lived the majority of the time was in Puerto Rico. I did travel a
Okay.
bit. My stepdad who was in the military,
Mm,
so I did a lot of traveling. Lived in the United States, but I always ended up going back home.
gotcha. Do
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico, is it mainly English or is it Spanish mainly?
Uh, Mainly Spanish.
Okay.
Everything is Spanish, but the majority everybody knows a little bit of English.
Gotcha.
The reason why, because in school they teach you English. That's an obligation. You got to take
Yeah.
English class. So you got to learn a little bit of English.
Yeah.
They want you to learn it.
So I could probably go there and visit and like get by at a
Oh
restaurant or
yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Oh
Pretty easy.
yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think one of these guys that live down there, Paul brothers, Jake Paul, I think.
Hmm.
He lives there. He has a house over there. Big mansion. So yeah, they live there because on your first home, when you buy your first home, you don't pay property taxes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really
That's
nice.
waived off. On the second house, then you got to pay property
Yeah.
taxes. You're paying property. In your first home you buy, no property taxes whatsoever.
Gotcha. What's the
So you
cost of
get
living in Puerto Rico right now? Is it
um,
higher or lower, or what would you say
it's
comparatively?
it's kind of high,
Hmm.
yeah. Because what happened is that the government there, even though we don't have a president, we have a governor.
Hmm.
So, like I said, it's like a state, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because we got to obey U.S. laws. We got to pay income tax. We got to pay, all this taxes. But and we're drafted in a war if we have to. The cost of living there it's a little bit high, and the taxes are a little bit. I think is I don't know if it's 8%, 10%. I got to double check. It's been a while, but yeah, they're pretty high, and it's
Gotcha.
because of different administrations that we had, different governors. They think they know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, and they just make a total mess. And then when the
Yeah.
United States send in money, they use it for other things. They don't use it for what's really meant.
What it's meant for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I would like to visit there though. It seems like a very nice area. I've seen like
Yeah.
pictures and stuff. It looks beautiful.
If
like
you ever visit, let me
land of
know.
it.
I'll tell you the spots where to go to and where to be at. Because Puerto Rico, we're under slavery from the Spaniards for many years.
Mhm.
So if you go to like the main city, San Juan, you'll see a lot of Spanish culture. A lot of
Really?
Spanish. Yeah, the
That's pretty cool.
roads and the buildings and the stuff like a lot of structures is a lot of the Spanish culture.
So does it have like a little bit of a European feel almost to it? Would you say?
Yeah, like if you're going to Spain in a way. Yeah.
Mhm. Gotcha.
But if you get out of that San Juan, then you're gonna see more of the Taino, more of a, the Puerto Rican side,
Nice.
the culture and history. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I go there once in a while, once every 3-4 years, and just go visit my family. And it's refreshing. Trust me, there's no place like home. So I understand your fiance a lot. So for her to go is
Yeah.
going to be hard. So for me, when my wife and I, we came to Florida. It was a little bit of a breath of fresh air because Florida gives us that island feeling in a way. A lot of palm trees, so we don't get homesick as much.
hmm
So we decided to move down here,
It's kind of like, I guess, like tropical almost in a way, kind of like Puerto Rico
yes,
is. Yeah, yeah. So it
yeah,
feels a little bit
tropical.
familiar.
And then you get a lot of Spanish people from
hmm
different cultures, different, from all over in here in Florida. But there's a lot of Puerto Ricans,
Do you
and
speak Spanish?
oh yeah, fluently, yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
speak, read it, write it, yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool. I mean, I like it here, but at the end of the day, uh, like my wife and I, we spoke about it, and so when the kids go to college and they do whatever they got to do, we're just gonna retire and just go back home.
hmm
I like to live up in the mountains where the rivers are at and all this stuff. I'm not
Yeah,
a beach person, but I love the rivers,
yeah. I like
Cascades, and
water in general. I don't know. I'm a weird person. I just like being around like a lake or a river. Even I don't even mind the beach, honestly. I kind of like all of it. I just like water is like a very, I don't know, it's calming. I don't know. It's a
it's
weird thing to say.
peaceful.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
peaceful to be around. I can go and sit down. I could take an afternoon and sit down and just watch like water flow. And like I would be just content doing that.
Oh man,
That and fire. I like fires too. I like building fires. But I don't know. Fire and water like have this weird, I don't know if it's like biological or what it is, but
it's their energy is
yeah,
something that's just so calming, so soothing. Man, if I was in the island, I would have said, "Want to come down to the Junca Rainforest?" It's the U.S. the only one in the hemisphere. Uh, the Junca Rainforest is in Puerto Rico. You can go visit anytime.
that sounds
It's
cool.
it's it's wild. Yeah, you go up there and go to these mountains, and it's just beautiful. A lot of green, and you see the rivers. There's tour guides. I mean, a lot of people around the world visit
hmm
the Junca Rainforest. Because when I was over there in the island, I was into the hotel industry. I was in, uh, I did tours. I was a tour guide. I did a lot of things when it comes into tourism
hmm
in the hotel and stuff like that
So you definitely
industry.
know the places to go then. So
Yeah,
well, if I go
yeah.
out there, I'm 100% gonna
Oh yeah,
100%
I'm
gonna
gonna
reach
tell
out
you
and be
where
like,
to
hey,
go,
yeah,
the food, what to eat, where to,
yeah,
you know, don't go to these fancy restaurants. Don't They're gonna waste your money. You go
yeah.
to a little local place that everybody goes to and get the real authentic food.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
that'll be
good.
proper.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, man.
Speaking Spanish in America is so convenient. There are so many people who speak Spanish here. Like if I knew how to speak it fluently, like it would actually be a lot easier. Like there are in Kentucky at least, there are a lot of um, Mexican people, and
Yeah.
they speak fluent Spanish. Like a lot of these guys aren't speaking the best English sometimes. Like if I could speak Spanish,
Mhm.
it'd be so much easier to like actually get along and like talk to some of these people. And I'll say this too, like the absolute best Mexican I've ever had in my entire life is from this like van they have outside of this like mattress store. It
Yeah.
is insane how good it is. And like I want to go up and talk to this fellow and be like, listen, man, like I don't know what you're doing back there, but this is insane. Like tell him how good it is.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really speak English, so I can't really do it. I would really like to learn it though. I think after I learn Ukrainian, the next
Yeah.
thing after that would be learning Spanish because that would make the most sense living in the United States.
Oh yeah. I mean, learning multiple languages is so convenient,
hmm
and it was very convenient for me for my what I do in my work, and as soon as they see in your resume that hey, this person speaks more than one language, you get hired a little bit more quicker.
hmm
Um, but yeah, uh, in the Spanish culture, like people that live in Honduras, Mexico, Argentina, all these places, we all have a lot of things in common, but there's a lot of things that are a little bit different. Even in our language, in our dialect, we speak a little bit different. Like Mexicans and us, our Spanish is not the same in certain things,
Hmm.
but a lot of it is. For an
You could
example,
understand each other though, right?
yeah, we can understand each
Yeah.
other. Is that we word things a little bit different.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. Like, for an example, they call beans a frijoles. We call beans habichuela.
I see.
Totally different.
Yeah.
See, um, there's certain things because in Puerto Rico, uh, our languages are mixed with three in a way. Because in the Puerto Rican culture and our history and our bloodline is made up of Taino Indian, Spanish, and African. So those
Okay.
three mixed together was a Puerto Rican.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah.
So I would say certain things like, look at the bembe of that person, Bembe, we know in Puerto Rico, you mentioned that means lips. That word came from Africa.
Yeah, that sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, so because we were basically in the same cage.
Yeah.
Because the original Indians that were there were called Taino Indians. So the Spaniards came in and took over. Taino Indians taught the Spaniards were gods.
Hmm.
So they just took advantage, put them in cages and put them in slavery.
Mm.
So, and they just mixed the Taino Indians with African slaves.
And that where
And
the
throughout
language
the
kind of came
years,
from. Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
see.
then the African slaves married the daughters of the Taino, and then they all mixed up. They all mixed. And then the Spaniards saw the girls. They're like, whoa, she's beautiful.
Hmm.
And they took them as wives. The women that were mixed when they got, older and everything. So they took them as their wives. And those children are with Puerto Ricans.
Gotcha.
Because it's
That's
mixed with
fascinating.
Spaniard.
How
Yeah,
that works.
Spaniard and Taino Indian and African. That's how the Puerto Ricans came to be. You don't see any racism in a lot of people think, oh, was there racism? Is there a lot of? I said, no, it's more rich against poor.
Yeah. I'll be frank, that's what I feel like it is in a lot of places. Like there is definitely racism in places, but
Yeah,
in my experience at least, because I didn't my growing up period was kind of like up and down at least. Like my parents did really well in the beginning and then like didn't do the best, but like all my friends for the most part didn't make a lot of money. Like neither did we as we got a little bit older, outside of me being like a very little kid. And it was really like you would see some like really like people would say some like really racist shit, but like everybody was like friends in a weird way. I don't know if I can explain that. They weren't like actually racist to each other though. Like everybody was like getting along and everybody was like their humor was really fucked up. I'll say that. But
yeah,
they weren't like genuinely like I hate this person because of the way they look or their skin color or like where they're from, etc. It was more so like they're gonna make some fucked up joke to each other and like they're gonna rip each other up and then they're gonna be best friends and have a beer after type deal. It's kind of so I kind of see what you're saying. Like I think that is in a lot of places too. I think it's more so like the very very wealthy versus kind of like the more less
yeah,
wealthy people in a way. I even see that where I'm from in like Kentucky in the country.
yeah. It happens. It's the rich against the poor and the poor against the rich. Um, it's a sad thing because we're all humans. At the end of the
Hmm.
day, we all bleed red, and it's like I tell people, I said, listen, you just always be humble, show love to everyone. Doesn't matter who they are, where they come from, because the day you die, that's when things hit the fan.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Because I know patients that passed away that died at NDE had died for like let's say 20 minutes or 40 minutes and come back and they'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild.
What's like one of the examples, the wildest ones you've heard, I guess? I'm kind of curious now.
Well, I had the privilege to have Dean Braxton on my podcast. He was clinically dead for an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
He had a sepsis, and basically all your organs start shutting down. There was an issue that involved the doctor didn't capture something, and yeah, he died. And he had the outer body. I knew what, because I've been investigating this for quite some time. So I told him, you were outside and you saw your body, right? He goes, yes. And I said, then you started floating up. He goes, yes. So he went, started shooting. He went through the universe and everything, and then he got to go to heaven and saw all of his family members. His great, 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 and he knew them all. Yeah, once you're there, you kind of like know everything. And then he saw Jesus coming up to him and said, "It's not your time. I need you more on earth than I need you here."
Wow.
Yeah, I was trying to get him on for like over a year. And and finally he came on, and really, really good guy. I mean, his case been investigated many times. Even there's this news network did a 6-month or 5-month investigation into his case. He had to sign a release, form because of EPA law. That you could go ahead and talk to my doctor. You could, So they did say 5 months before they aired it out.
So
the
do you
doctors
think?
were like, "Yeah, it happened. This is what happened to him. This is
Wow.
it." And we could show you, because we don't call it flatline. We call it systole when it comes to the heart. So if I see a heart basically flatline, goes down, I got to record every single moment. And if you're in a systole for such a long time, I mean, you're dead. I mean, there's nothing, no way around it. Then there's no brain waves. So there's nothing happening. My thing is that kind of blows my mind is when the patient goes to an systole, they die. How is it that they know everything that's going around when they're out of their body?
Yeah.
And it's nothing by their imagination. So one this is a different case. There was a patient said, "I knew everything what you were doing. You went over here, you ran over here, you pressed this, and you did this, and you went over here and you did this." And they're like, "Wait, that was 7 minutes after you passed away.
Yeah.
How do you knew I went to this office and I went and got this? How do you know I went over here and made a phone call?"
Yeah. You can't
and
really
they-
explain that without
yeah,
the
your eyes are
modality of.
closed, everything is shut. You're dead. And there's a certain time they just start. They do a TOD, meaning time of death,
Gotcha.
because they got to put that in record. Then they ask me, "Jeff, I need a printout of that EKG when the patient passed away. What time?" And I'm the one that gives out the time. So when the family members come in, they go, "Yeah, passed away at this time." Yeah.
So would you
So
say?
that was,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, that one was really mind blowing.
I was gonna ask, like, from your experience, like, 'cause obviously you're like experiencing that like secondhand consistently. It sounds like just because through your job and such. Do you think that it has caused you to ask more questions about what happens after we die? Or do you think it's solidified your belief in what happens after we die?
It what increased gets me to get more curious to know, but also it clarifies a lot of things that I kind of like believed, because there are cases of people that don't go to heaven, some gone to hell. I just had recently someone on my pod that he was on his way to hell, but he was an atheist. He didn't believe in nothing. And his case was really weird, So he kind of described to me what happened, what he was feeling in his heart. And I said, "Man, I think you had a flutter." He goes, "A flutter?" So I explained to him what a flutter is. I said, "Bro, you're about to go." So he said it was like a couple minutes or a few minutes or so. I don't know. Can't remember. But yeah, he was on his way down, and then something told him to call on God, call on Jesus. And then when he did, he felt his body go. He comes back, his soul. He went back into his body.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is, yeah,
a lot of
that
those
is wow.
cases that people that kind of end up going down, um, they have a very interesting lifestyle, or you know, they don't believe whatsoever, and
Hmm.
they're truly, truly atheist. I had a friend, he's still alive. Um, well, he was the only person I would talk about politics. I'll talk about religion, and we'll talk about a little bit of everything. And this is a coworker, and he does skydiving professionally, and he does this, these shows and all this stuff. And he would tell me, "Jeff, I just don't believe." I said, "Dude, are you sure you don't believe there's not even a higher power? You don't believe in God in general?" Okay, I said, "Fine. You don't want to believe in Jesus, then fine. But do you believe there's a supreme?" He goes,
Hmm.
"Jeff, I believe this is nothing. We just created out of an explosion and all this and that." And he was a very firm believer. First, I thought he may be okay. He could be agnostic. Probably he's just
Hmm.
fooling around. But he was really, really like didn't believe whatsoever. And he was very diehard on his stance. So 6-7 months passed by, and then he he had an accident. I got
Hmm.
wind of it. Somebody said, "Hey, your buddy had a skydiving accident. I don't know if
Oh,
he's
man.
gonna make it." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And so I couldn't visit him at the hospital. It was pretty restricted. I mean, he was in really bad shape because his parachute opened up halfway. It didn't open up completely.
Wow. So
So
he hit
he's
he hit the ground pretty hard.
yeah. So he had to maneuver hit branches because they say, okay, if you're gonna die, at least die landing on top of a tree or bushes or something, but don't hit flat surface.
Hmm.
So he landed on some on bushes, but he said the impact like kind of like blew, like ripped off part of his body, and the blood, it kind of exploded
Hmm.
out. Yeah, it was some of his gut was out and everything. So come to know it, he survived it, and time passed by, months and months, and when he was in recovery, I went to go visit him. The first words out of my mouth, I said, "Now tell me what you saw, because I know you saw something. And don't tell me you don't believe in God anymore." He goes, "Jeff, I surrender. You're right."
Hmm.
I said, "What?" I said, "I know the first thing you saw, you had an outer body, right?" He goes, "Yeah, you were right. You told me about, yeah, I was out of my body. I saw myself out of my body. I saw this light beaming out of my chest. When I turned around, I saw the whole universe." And he said, "Yeah, but there was this peace that I could not explain. It was just the most this peace, and he said it's a peace that came from God, and God told him like it's not your time. I'm gonna give you a chance." And he went back into his body.
Wow.
Talking about a person that was, I mean, this guy he was tough. He didn't
Yeah.
believe in none of that stuff, not even outer body experiences, nothing.
Yeah.
I could have had patients talk to him and he wouldn't even believe.
Wow.
Happened to him, now he believes.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a very um complicated kind of like path of like religion, I guess. Like I grew up going to church every day, and I was baptized. And then I got very disillusioned, I think, with the church, just because I saw so much hypocrisy in terms of what, like, 'cause my dad had, like, we read the Bible together. Like, I actually read through, like, what Jesus taught, and studied his teachings, and mainly the New Testament stuff. I did study the Old Testament a bit, but especially New Testament, I went through quite a bit. And then I would see, like, I would read these things and I would see how people are acting in the church and like how they were like, talking down on like people and such. It might just be like a Southern thing. I don't know, or it was like a kind of a messed up church community, but it caused me, I think, to be atheist for a little bit. I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. Kind of like just went into like some crazy stuff, got a bit depressed off it, and then I started like studying um, Eastern philosophy a lot. Like I started studying the Buddha, studied
Mm-hmm.
Hinduism a bit, and then it kind of like has come full circle in a way where I do believe in God without question. I know that we have a creator, and I pray to God every day still. I just have like a little bit of doubt, I think, with exactly what was written in the Bible and how it works, because of I can kind of see the manipulation because I do study human nature for, my job and what I do outside of Siege.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely been things that have been manipulated by men, that I've read, and it causes me to doubt the exact modality of things. But I would still say that I am a follower of Jesus. I am, I believe in God fully, but I do
Yeah.
struggle a little bit sometimes to fully buy into the concept of heaven and hell, I think, and exactly how it works to get to that, where I almost believe in reincarnation a little bit more. It's an incredibly complicated thought. Like we could talk about it for hours, but that's kind of like the
Yeah.
TLDR of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, it's pretty, yeah. It's been a
Yeah. It's
lot
it's
that goes
it's
down into it.
interesting. Okay, it is interesting because it's about faith, right?
Yeah.
You have faith, you believe. You haven't yet met Jesus, you haven't yet seen him, but you have faith
Hmm.
and you believe he exists without him showing up to you. Okay, fine. I had my experience with the Lord that it will probably blow your mind, and I'll one of these days I'll share it with you. Things that has happened to me that's like beyond supernatural. Now, I went from there, then I said, okay, let's go to the scientific evidence.
Hmm.
That's where I've been researching and studying NDE. Let's go scientifically. Let's take out God out of the equation. Do patients go through outer body experience when they go through an NDE? NDE is near death
Yeah.
experience for those that don't understand or are listening. So I got to go down that route. If I could prove that NDE is real, then we could go to the next step and let's talk about what happens after you're having the outer body experience. What happens after during that? There's been many cases that's been investigated that I think majority of all of them all have an outer body experience. They see themselves floating or somewhere in the position around, but they see their body laying down on the ground or they're in the operating table. They see that. They see everything that's going around. What comes after that is where a lot of people have struggle. Dean tells me, Jeff, I could prove to anybody, any doctor, scientist, that look, I could prove that I died. For me, only thing I got to see is the EKG
Yeah.
because of what I do. I
Yeah.
could just, oh crap, yeah, you're dead, bro. You're completely dead. There's no way around it. I don't need that much. I just need to look at that. And then I could tell immediately. For other people, they need to hear from a doctor, they need to hear it from a specialist. But the one thing for sure, everybody's going to go through an outer body experience. Where you go after that is undetermined.
Yeah.
It depends on you. All I know is that those that do good,
Hmm.
okay, those have a good heart. Those that do, God's will, and their outcomes are very different from those that don't.
Yeah.
And I usually tell people, you want to look into it. It's there's a lot of good channels out there. Now there's some that they're fake. They just caught somebody that was just he was lying. He didn't go through an NDE. He was doing it for money and to sell books and
Yeah.
to make a quick cash. And they caught on to it. They caught on to it really, really. I mean, they were keeping an eye on him and on his case for quite some time, and they noticed that he would say one thing, and then years later he will say,
Yeah.
Like,
Just kind
okay,
of
this
grifting
is,
off of it is what he was
yeah,
doing in a way.
something that's not right. So, but other than that, I would just tell people, hey, do good.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one thing too. That life review does happen.
Yeah.
So the good that you do to another person, then the life review, you feel exactly what that person felt. I had to change a lot of my ways. I actually, after knowing that, and patients will concur and they will tell me about this. People that will just say, "Hey, listen, no, yeah, I had that life review, all the good and all the bad I've done, and when I did bad, I felt how I made that person feel." Seth, I was calling tons of people and asking for forgiveness.
Hmm.
I called cousins, I called friends. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. I know I did this to you 5 years ago. We had something went wrong, and I'm calling to apologize. The shock, man, dude, no, don't worry about it. No, I'm sorry too. I'm like, no, I just want you to know I love you, man. That's
Hmm.
it. I just want to bury that. I just want to apologize for that, because at the end of the day, you got to do what's right.
Yeah.
And love conquers all, no matter what. So,
No, I agree with that
and so
completely. It's like
that's
the Bodhisattva path, I think, is one of the best ways to kind of describe that, like what they teach in Zen a bit. It's also just like the way that Jesus acted. They're both very similar in that way. It,
a lot
it's
of it ties
it's
up. All
yeah,
of it's like the same.
it is. It really is, and that's something that I've realized through studying these different, I guess, traditions in a way. Like a lot of it
Hmm.
is pointing in the same direction, just says it in a different way.
If you notice it all points to love.
Yeah, it really does.
That's all it is. It all points to love.
Hmm.
This is love one another. I think if
Yep.
we all do that, this world will be such a freaking better place.
Oh,
Forget about
100%.
religion. I think religion destroys and kills and does so much harm. But if you love one another,
Hmm.
that's one of the things about NDEs, that people that encounter Jesus, never once Jesus tells them, listen, when you go back, I need you to go to this church, or I need you to go here. I need you to change this, or stop eating this, or eat this and don't eat that. Never.
Yeah.
All it is, love everybody.
Yeah.
Tell them that I love them. That is the majority of the cases.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, love.
100%. I think that if we could all get to that point, like I even talked to Lena about this a lot, because me and her talk a lot about like I guess like ideologies in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's one that we have a consistent like discourse about is feminism, actually. It doesn't sound like it's that big of a thing. We talk about feminism a lot, and then we talk about how we compare that to kind of like political movements in a sense, and about how, a lot of these things get misconstrued and kind of put in a way to become divisive, but like at their root, like the ideology itself is about togetherness, and just things like that we'll talk about a lot. And it really comes back to the same thing. Like we'll have this very long conversation, it'll last like days, and then it'll come back to like, yeah, like if these people could just see the other person's perspective and, you know, understand like what's going on with them, et cetera, and just like offer some compassion there, like there would be literally there if everyone thought like that, there would be hardly no issues in the world outside of like, there'd still be illness, there'd be like cancers and things of that sort, but there wouldn't be like wars, and there wouldn't be like, these crazy things like violent crimes and like all this nonsense. Like all that would be done with, but the thing is, it's human nature. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point, but it is something to strive towards. And, if you can embody that in yourself, teach your children that, teach people around you that, and try to do as much as you can from your perspective, you can make a pretty meaningful change in that aspect, I think.
True, man. True. Well, Coach, brother, I know you. We could go on for talking
Yeah.
for hours, man. I kind of like had this gut feeling. I didn't know why. Had this gut feeling that we were going to talk for quite a bit. Usually, my pod goes like for around the 2 hours to more. When you got two people that click, the chemistry just instantly goes there. And I had this feeling. I said, I have a feeling we're gonna talk quite a bit, but I know that you got something coming up. We're going to leave it for a part 2.
Yeah, no, we're
gotta
definitely gonna do it again.
Yeah, I need to bring you back on.
It's cool too, because like all these other podcasts that I've done like so far, like they were also really good. The guys did a really great job with it, but it was always like centered around the game and such. Like I enjoy, the conversation we had. It was pretty cool. We were just talking about, things that,
yeah, I leave those podcasts to them. I know, some podcasters, they dedicate to the game and into that, and that's their territory. So I leave it to them. Mine, I'm more of a Joe Rogan style. I tell people I'm more of a Joe. I love the conversations. If I go really deep into the gaming and all this type of stuff, my ADHD starts kicking in, and I just can't concentrate, and my mind starts to wander off, and it just messes me up.
Yeah.
So there's people that are into the in-depth in gaming. Good. There's plenty podcasts out there that they're into that. For me, no. I'm more like, let's get to know you. What do you like? What you don't like? Let's talk about a little bit of everything. Have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely come on again. I'd like to continue talking about what we were on. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no problem. Well, listen, Seth, I give everybody a minute or two so they can give out their socials. So please tell everybody where they can find you, etc. The stage is yours.
Okay. Yeah, well, call out. You want to find me on Twitter? It's at callout66. If you want to check out, if you want to work on anything to help you as a competitor, as a business owner, whatever you may be, whatever modality that is, if you just would like to have a more clear mind, have a healthier body, be able to go about things with a bit more ease and direction, you can check out the business that I own along with Hector, which is at Optima HP. You can find us on Twitter, or you can just type it on Google. You'd find us there. And I appreciate you guys listening to us ramble for what we were talking about. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know I did. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure, man. It was an honor. Actually, it's an honor. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, folks. You know what time it is. Till next time. God bless. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode on the Rascals Lounge podcast, and please don't forget to follow us on X and on your favorite podcast platform.